Ancient Egypt, the land of pharaohs and pyramids, where everyone lived in luxury and probably wore eyeliner, right? Well, yes, if you were a wealthy noble or divine ruler. But what about all the other folks, the silent majority that made up ancient Egyptian society? How did they live? Did their lives improve during Egypt's golden age? Join us as we explore the hidden misery of an ancient Egyptian farmer and find out. Why, oh, why did nobody like this guy? We think of the Nile River as the source of life for ancient Egypt, and it was. Without its annual floods, the whole shebang would have been a desert. But for the farmers who lived near its banks, life was pretty miserable. Why? Keep watching to find out. When you imagine ancient Egypt, you're likely thinking of grand palaces, splendid tombs, and bustling trade routes. You might picture people like Tutankhamun or Cleopatra, and that's fair enough. After all, they sound pretty fun. But while these rulers and elites enjoyed all the trappings of wealth and power, everyday Egyptians didn't. Ancient Egyptian society was largely agricultural. Most folks lived off the land, farming crops like wheat and barley and tending to flocks of sheep and goats. They also fished in the Nile and its many branches and tributaries. Oh, and they were really into flax. The plants, that is, not the linen made from flax. Don't get them wrong. Linen was great. Just not as great as all the other stuff going on in ancient Egypt. So how did these poor sods living off the land spend their days? Well, in one word, farming. Now, don't get me wrong, farming is a tough gig in any age. Imagine working every day, not necessarily hard, but definitely long hours, come rain or shine. Picture pulling weeds, planting seeds, irrigating crops, and chasing away animals looking for a snack. Also, you don't own the animals. Those belong to your landlord. You just borrow them for a set amount of time. Got it. Now throw in unforgiving weather, bugs, random taxes, and the occasional biblical plague of locusts, and you've got the basic idea of a day in the life of an ancient Egyptian farmer. Sounds peachy, right? Well, there were a few perks. Farming was often a family affair. Men, women, and even children worked the fields together, sharing the joys and challenges of growing food for their communities. And when the harvest came in, the community celebrated. Feasts, dancing, and music filled the air as people gave thanks for the bounty of the land. So maybe it wasn't all bad. But let's be real, this party was the exception, not the rule. For much of ancient Egyptian history, the average person worked as a farmer. Life was tough, unpredictable, and often unfair. But amidst the hardships, there were glimmers of hope. Small communities gathered around temples, offering prayers and sacrifices to the gods. They hoped for good crops and protection from harm. Religion was a constant presence in their lives, shaping their beliefs, values, and traditions. Every year they observed festivals honoring gods like Osiris and Isis, celebrating the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. During the New Kingdom, things got especially rough. The empire expanded, taking more resources and manpower. The government established farms to feed the armies and officials, taking even more land and labor from the villages. People had to pay taxes in kind, offering a portion of their crops to the rulers. Rulers who usually weren't around to see it, though some were more hands-on than others. Hatshepsut took throne around 1478 BCE. She was the first woman to rule Egypt as pharaoh in her own right, not a regent or a queen mother. Hatshepsut was the daughter of a pharaoh and a full sister to another. Her rise to power came through marriage, first to her brother and then to her nephew. She was the regent for her stepson Themos III when he was too young to rule, and she became pharaoh when he came of age. It's important to note that Hatshepsut didn't seize power or force her way into the role of pharaoh. Her rise was through traditional means and her legitimacy was recognized. This sets her apart from many other female leaders in ancient Egypt, who often gained power through controversial means and whose stories are shrouded in intrigue and myth. Hatshepsut was not content with the traditional role of a regent or queen mother. She wanted more. She wanted to be pharaoh. So she declared herself king. Now, it's not clear exactly why she did this. Maybe she wanted to be seen as equal to her male counterparts. Maybe she wanted to send a message that she wasn't just a woman in a man's world, but a powerful leader in her own right. Whatever her reasons, Hatshepsut's decision was revolutionary. She went ahead and had statues and monuments built that showed her as a king, wearing the traditional pharaoh's attire and sporting a fake beard. She even took on a royal name, which emphasized her masculine identity. Her reign was marked by extensive building projects, including the construction of temples and the development of her own mortuary complex. Hatshepsut prioritized trade and initiated expeditions to distant lands like the modern-day Comoros and the Arabian Peninsula. These ventures brought immense wealth to Egypt, further solidifying her legacy as a successful ruler. However, her story took a tragic turn when her stepson Thutmose III came into power. He erased most records of his stepmother's reign, trying to make it seem like she never ruled at all. Historians believe he may have done this to legitimize his own claim to the throne. Life under Hatshepsut was actually pretty good for most folks in Egypt. She promoted trade and the economy flourished. But after she died, things changed. Her stepson took over, and he was all about keeping the peace. He focused on defense and neglected the economy. Trade declined and the treasury emptied. People started struggling. Still, there were bright spots. For example, Egypt was pretty chill about religion. Unlike many places, they didn't care if you worshiped their gods or not. And people liked that. The arts flourished and everyone was super into building cool stuff like temples and tombs. It was a great time to be an architect. Pharaoh Akhenaten decided to spice things up by starting a new religion. It was all about this sun god named Aten, and he wanted everyone else to worship it, too. He moved the capital and built a new city called Amarna. Things got weird when Tutankhamun took over after him. He was only 9 years old when he became pharaoh, and he didn't like his dad's new religion. He went back to the old ways and made sure everyone knew he was totally in charge. He restored order and made the empire strong again. Ramesses II was the king of Egypt for over 60 years, from 1279 to 1213 BCE. He was known as the Great for a reason. He built huge buildings, led big armies, and made deals with other countries. Under his rule, Egypt reached its biggest size, controlling Nubia in the south and the Levant in the northeast. He also started a building boom, creating huge temples and statues. One of his most famous projects was Abu Simbel, a rock-cut temple with giant statues of himself. He also built temples in Luxor and built the Ramesseum as his memorial. Religion was a big part of life in ancient Egypt. People believed in many gods and goddesses, and they built huge temples to honor them. Priests played a big role in society, and they were in charge of running the temples and performing ceremonies. The most famous temples were Karnak and Luxor in Thebes, which were huge complexes with giant pillars and beautiful artwork. In ancient Egypt, people believed in a life after death. They mummified their dead pharaohs and nobles to preserve their bodies for the afterlife. They buried them with treasures, and sometimes even sacrificed animals to make sure the journey went smoothly. Ancient Egyptian society had a strict hierarchy. At the top were the pharaohs, who were considered divine rulers. Below them were the nobles and priests, followed by scribes, merchants, and artisans. At the bottom were the farmers and laborers. Slavery was also common in ancient Egypt. Slaves were usually foreigners captured in war, or people who were born into slavery. They did hard manual labor and had no rights. Life in ancient Egypt was tough, but there were some perks. For example, healthcare was free, and everyone could go to the temple to receive treatment. There were also plenty of jobs, so most people never went hungry. Finally, ancient Egypt was relatively safe. There was no standing army, so there was little danger of invasion. The pharaoh's police force kept the streets of Thebes safe and orderly. It's easy to look back at ancient Egypt and see a society that was obsessed with death. From their elaborate burial rituals to their massive tombs, it seems like all they cared about was the afterlife. But that's only half the story. While the Egyptians were certainly fascinated with the afterlife, they also knew how to live. From their love of parties to their appreciation for art and music, the ancient Egyptians knew how to enjoy themselves. They weren't afraid to indulge in the pleasures of this world, whether it was a good meal, a cold drink, or the company of friends. To truly understand ancient Egypt, we need to look at both sides of this coin. Sure, they were obsessed with death, but they also knew how to live. So next time you're in Egypt, raise a glass to the ancient Egyptians and say cheers to the good life. All right, folks, that's a wrap on this episode of Lost to Time. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through history. If you haven't already, please do subscribe for more captivating historical tales. And hey, why not show us you approve by hitting that thumbs up button? As always, stay curious and we'll catch you next time. Welcome back to our series where rulers with the title Pharaoh are the center of attention. Now, there have been many famous male pharaohs throughout history, but today we will look at a remarkable woman whose steps may have been lighter on the stones of her temple, but no less impactful. This is the tale of Hatshepsut, queen turned pharaoh. Now imagine the stillness of a palace at dawn. Wide halls wrapped in shadows, the scent of incense clinging to painted stone. Somewhere within, behind high walls and heavy silence, a woman prepares to be seen. Not as queen, but as pharaoh. In this house of secrets where the Nile whispers tales of old, a new story is about to unfold. Hatshepsut, daughter of the divine. The year is around 1507 BCE, and a royal baby girl is born to Pharaoh Thutmose, the first, and his great royal wife, Emos. She is named Hatshepsut, meaning foremost of praises. In the grand tapestry of Egyptian royalty, she is a daughter of the divine, but not yet destined for the spotlight. The young princess grows up in a world of order. The temples resonate with prayers. The streets echo with processions, and the granite statues of pharaohs are carved with such precision that they seem to outlast even memory itself. She lives in a world where priests guard secrets older than any dynasty, and where the Nile's annual flood brings both challenge and bounty. As tradition demands, she marries her half-brother, Thutmose II, who becomes pharaoh while she becomes his great royal wife. They have a son, Thutmose III, ensuring the continuation of the bloodline. But life at the palace is not without its challenges. When Thutmose II dies, Hatshepsut finds herself in a precarious position. Her stepson, the new Thutmose III, is too young to rule, and the kingdom, like a boat on the Nile, needs steady hands at the helm. The priests look to her as the natural choice, aligning themselves with the princess regent, a title that sets her apart as the chief administrator of the kingdom. But she does not seek power for power's sake. She seeks stability, prosperity, and the continuation of her dynasty. As the years pass, she carefully guides Egypt, demonstrating wisdom beyond her years. The kingdom flourishes under her guidance, enjoying peace and prosperity. Still, the question lingers: what will become of her legacy? Will she forever be known as regent, or will her role evolve? Only time will tell. Becoming pharaoh, one stone at a time. Now, Hatshepsut's journey to the throne was not a sprint, but a marathon, a testament to patience and strategy. Her world was one of tradition and convention, but she understood that true leadership transcended titles and conventions. She made sure that she got the support of the influential priesthood of Ammon, probably because she knew that their backing would lend legitimacy to her rule. It wasn't just about the gold, though she lavished gifts on the temples, but about the priests' commitment and loyalty. She was building a coalition of sorts, a united front to steer Egypt through the turbulent waters of the ancient world. It wasn't a sudden seizure of power, but a gradual ascent, a step-by-step process that mirrored the construction of the pyramids themselves, layer by layer. First, she had herself proclaimed as God's vicar on earth, a divine appointment that set her apart from ordinary rulers. Then she added the title of Great of Praises, emphasizing her exalted status. However, the most significant transformation came when she donned the full regalia of the pharaoh, the headdress that symbolized supreme authority, and the false beard that signified not disguise but tradition. Finally, she took the most important step, declaring herself pharaoh, a title that echoed throughout the ages. Her statues were crafted in the likeness of a male pharaoh, but that was not about concealing her identity. It was about embodying the essence of kingship. Some might say she disguised herself as a man, but that would be a simplification of her intent. She was not hiding behind a facade, but standing firmly in the tradition of her predecessors. In the pantheon of Egyptian rulers, she was not merely a female pharaoh. She was a vessel of divine kingship, transcending gender norms to embody the very essence of authority. In her time and ours, her story challenges conventional narratives, inviting us to see beyond titles and traditions and to recognize the complexities of those who dared to lead in unconventional ways. Trade, temples, and timeless deeds. As Hatshepsut settled into her role as pharaoh, she ushered in an era of remarkable achievements, leaving an indelible mark on Egypt's history. Her reign was not just about asserting authority, but also about fostering prosperity and cultural advancement. The most iconic symbol of her legacy is perhaps her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, a masterpiece of ancient architecture. It stands as a testament to her enduring impact on the landscape of Egypt. But it wasn't just about constructing grandiose structures. She embarked on an expedition to the land of Punt, a distant realm shrouded in mystery. Details are etched into the temple walls, narrating not just a journey, but an adventure into the unknown. Her ships braved the treacherous seas, returning with treasures that transformed Egypt's landscape. Myrrh trees were planted, gold and ebony adorned the temples, and exotic animals from the realm of Punt found a home in Egypt. But her reign wasn't confined to the borders of Egypt. She extended her influence through trade, ensuring that the riches of Punt reached the heart of her kingdom. Her legacy is not just about the treasures brought back, but the stories embedded in the temple walls, a narrative of exploration and cultural exchange. Moreover, she demonstrated unwavering support for the arts and crafts. Workshops thrived under her patronage, producing exquisite works that celebrated her reign. Her reign was a golden age of stability, progress, and cultural vibrancy, setting a precedent for future pharaohs, disappearance and rediscovery. Yet as swiftly as her star rose, it began to set. After her death, Thutmose III, now a grown man, assumed the role of pharaoh. His long and prosperous reign was marked by military campaigns and expansionist policies, a stark contrast to Hatshepsut's more peaceful rule. He changed the course of Egyptian history, venturing beyond the borders of his predecessors and leaving a legacy that extended far beyond the Nile. Yet in doing so, he seemed to have overshadowed his stepmother. Decades into his reign, he initiated a systematic removal of Hatshepsut's name and image, erasing her from official records and monuments. It's a historical puzzle that has intrigued many, but the true reasons behind his actions remain unclear. Some suggest that his desire to establish a clear lineage led him to downplay her role, seeing her as an interloper in his bloodline. Others argue that it was a way to distance himself from her unconventional rule, preferring to emphasize his own military achievements. Whatever the motivation, the erasure was comprehensive. Her cartouches, the symbolic containers of her name, were chiseled away from temple walls. Statues were buried or defaced, and her achievements were absorbed into Thutmose III's own narrative. Why she was erased so thoroughly remains a mystery. It's a historical footnote that dims the brilliance of her legacy, casting a shadow over her remarkable achievements. Memory restored. For centuries, Hatshepsut's story remained fragmented, buried under the sands of time and Thutmose III's ambitions. But history, like the Nile, has a way of resurfacing what's been hidden. In the 19th century, archaeologists unearthed her temple at Deir el-Bahri. It was a discovery that reverberated through the halls of history. bringing Hatshepsut back into the light of recognition. As they brushed away the dust of ages, they uncovered inscriptions that told the tale of a woman who ruled as king, challenging the conventional narratives of her time. Her legacy, once thought to be erased forever, emerged from the ground, whispering tales of courage, wisdom, and resilience. Today, her name echoes through the corridors of memory, no longer as myth, but as reality. Her story serves as a beacon, reminding us that even when names are chiseled away, legacies cannot always be erased. And now, deep in the Valley of the Kings, nestled among the silent tombs of Egypt's elite, lies a hidden chamber that holds secrets that have echoed through the corridors of time. Within its eternal embrace, the story of KV5 awaits, promising a journey into the depths of history where the sons of a pharaoh slumbered in silence. Will you venture into the shadowy depths of KV5 and uncover the mysteries that lie within? Because for the next chapter of our journey takes us there. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to join us every week for new historical tales. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Egypt. Join us as we bring you the sights and sounds of this great country and help you discover the secrets of its people, its ancient history and modern way of life. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified of new episodes. Imagine standing in the Valley of the Kings. The wind is low. The cliffs rise on either side like silent guardians. Beneath your feet lies something vast, hidden, forgotten, something that even pharaohs and their greatest architects could not keep safe from time and tide. In this hushed space where kings sleep and legends hide, you're about to enter a tomb built not for one, but for many. Sons of a king whose names were once spoken beside God's. Prepare yourself. When the dry heat of the desert presses closest, when the shifting sands threaten to swallow all memory of Egypt's greatest monuments, remember this place. Here in the middle of nowhere, half buried and half revealed by the relentless desert winds, is KV5, the hidden tomb of Ramesses II's sons. One of Egypt's longest reigning pharaohs, Ramesses II sired many sons, possibly over 100, though only a fraction lived to maturity. KV5 was built to hold those that didn't live long enough to build their own monuments or to receive proper burial in the shadow of their father's light. In the dry heart of the Theban desert, Tomb KV5 was first entered in 1825. Not fully, just the first chambers. It was catalogued and numbered, then left unnoticed, unstudied. The passage seemed small, unremarkable, and so it was sealed up and passed over for grander finds. But in the 1980s, Egyptologist Kent Weeks returned to it with modern tools, new questions, and infinite patience. What he found was not just a tomb but a labyrinth. It is one of the largest single mortuary complexes at the Valley of the Kings and was built around 1279 BC. Its full extent was unknown until 1995, and as of today, over 120 chambers have been identified, though there may still be more waiting behind undisturbed rock. KV5 is the burial site for the sons of Ramesses II, one of Egypt's longest reigning pharaohs. Though Ramses had many sons, possibly over 100, many died before him, and KV5 was built to hold them. At first, Weeks uncovered a few rooms, then a dozen, then more. The tomb is vast, twisting corridors, repeated layouts. Some rooms are unfinished, others sealed, some collapsed by ancient floods. Each chamber adds another layer of silence, broken only by the calls of desert birds. There are no lavish treasures, no gold masks, no canopic jars, just broken pottery, bones, and the marks of chisel and torch. The walls bear names, many beginning with Ramesses, as was the tradition among royal sons. The names are a map of grief, charting not only the layout of the tomb, but the pharaoh's personal losses. Over the years, KV5 became an evolving record of a changing world, a king's changing world. Princes, high priests, commanders, men who bore witness to their father's victories, and some who fought alongside him. Ramesses Meriatim, Ramesses Kamwasid, Ramesses Amun-Hekeshuf, their titles speak of promise. Their tombs speak of absence. Some of the chambers never held a body, some never completed. A few defiled by time and later tomb robbers. Others untouched, the entrance blocked by fallen masonry or sealed with mud brick. Some contain small shrines, niches, or chests. One held a collection of tiny coffins, each containing the mummy of a small child. All were designated for the afterlife, destined to accompany their owner on their journey beyond the veil. There is no central burial, no great sarcophagus, just a network of memory scattered and slow to reveal itself. In the hush of these endless passages, the past speaks in whispers. It tells not of a pharaoh's triumphs, but of his losses. Ramesses ruled for over 60 years. He outlived many of his heirs, and KV5 became a ledger of lineage and loss, a testament to the fragility of even the most powerful kings. For centuries the tomb was silent, its entrances buried beneath flood, debris, and time. Only recently has it begun to whisper again to those who listen with patience. Its discovery rewrote parts of Egyptian history, not with drama, but with quiet detail. Stone by stone, name by name, step by step, KV5 remains closed to the public, too unstable, too sacred, too unfinished. But its corridors continue to yield small truths about a family, a dynasty, a civilization that carved permanence into the desert only to be buried by it. Now let the corridors fall quiet again. Let the lamps be extinguished. Let the air grow still. We rise now not to return to the fields, nor to the tomb, but to the temple. A place where incense flows, where hieroglyphs echo like prayer, and where daily life meant ritual. Even in the heart of the bustling city, sacred spaces endure, whispering tales as old as time. Welcome to Karnak. Step inside and feel the weight of millennia upon you. This grand temple complex, a testament to the enduring legacy of ancient Egypt, invites you to lose yourself in its labyrinthine halls and courtyards. Explore the great hypostyle hall, with its towering columns and intricate carvings. Marvel at the ornate ceiling above and imagine the rituals that once unfolded here. Walk in the footsteps of pharaohs past as you wander through the sacred lake and the open-air halls adorned with vibrant colors and divine imagery. Pay homage to the gods of old as you contemplate the eternal flame burning before the altar. And as the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the temple grounds, find solace in the soft glow of the setting sun. Here in the embrace of ancient stones, find peace amidst the timeless beauty. It is here in Karnak that we'll bring our journey to a close, not with a finality, but with a gentle fade into the eternal mysteries of the past. Rest now, weary traveler, beneath the watchful gaze of the gods. Let the whispers of ancient wisdom wash over you as you drift into a peaceful slumber. Dream of soaring falcons and mythical creatures. Let the soft murmur of prayers echo in your ears, and the scent of incense linger in your dreams. As dawn breaks and the first rays of sunlight pierce through the darkness, stir gently, dear traveler. Rise now, refreshed and rejuvenated, ready to face the day with renewed vigor. Before you leave, feast your eyes upon the majestic view that awaits you. Imagine the thrill of discovery as you uncover a treasure trove of ancient wonders. Picture yourself standing in the heart of a grand temple, surrounded by towering columns adorned with intricate hieroglyphics. Feel the weight of history upon you as you explore the labyrinthine passages leading to hidden sanctuaries. And as you step outside, let the warmth of the morning sun envelop you, energizing you for a day filled with exploration. Your adventure continues with a visit to a lesser-known but equally enchanting temple, a hidden gem nestled away from the bustling crowds. Immerse yourself in the tranquility of this sacred space as you wander through its serene halls and courtyards. Lose yourself in the intricate details of the carvings and marvel at the sheer craftsmanship of these ancient builders. Experience a profound sense of calm wash over you as you connect with the spiritual essence of this place. At long last, it's time to embark on a truly unforgettable experience. A hot air balloon ride over the mystical lands of Luxor. As the balloon gently floats above the majestic ruins, feel a sense of serenity envelop you. Gaze upon the sprawling cityscape, ancient temples, and the mighty river Nile, as if from a dream. Let the wind carry you above the bustling crowds, allowing you to experience Luxor from a perspective that few ever will. As the sun bathes the landscape in golden hues, feel a profound sense of gratitude for this breathtaking moment. Picture yourself seated comfortably in a traditional Egyptian restaurant, surrounded by the warm glow of candlelight. Before you, a table laden with authentic Middle Eastern delicacies awaits, each dish a testament to the rich culinary heritage of this ancient land. Savor the flavors of hummus, creamy and smooth, perfectly complementing the crispy falafel. Indulge in the aromatic koshari, a symphony of rice, lentils, pasta, and flavorful sauce. Experience the succulent melt in your mouth goodness of Egyptian grilled chicken and the refreshing tang of pickled mango. With each bite, feel the warmth of Egyptian hospitality fill you. From the friendly banter of the local Egyptians to the mesmerizing tunes of traditional music, your evening promises to be filled with laughter, joy, and an abundance of good cheer. Feel the energy of the crowd as they come together to celebrate life, music, and the magic of ancient Egypt. As the night deepens, surrender to the rhythm of the drums and let your spirit soar. Raise a glass to the gods of old and toast to the wonders of this enchanting land. In the flickering lamplight, surrounded by the rhythmic chants and the hypnotic sway of dancers, let the spirit of ancient Egypt envelop you. And as the night draws to a close, find solace in the comforting embrace of tradition. Tuckered out from a day of exploration, rest easy knowing that tomorrow holds even more adventures. May your dreams be filled with visions of ancient wonders, and may you awaken refreshed and eager to continue your journey through the enchanting lands of Egypt. So join us now on this incredible journey through time. Explore the majestic pyramids, uncover the secrets of the Sphinx, and immerse yourself in the vibrant culture of Cairo. Discover the timeless treasures of Alexandria and sail down the Nile River to the ancient city of Luxor. Embark on an unforgettable adventure to the Red Sea coast, where you'll encounter playful dolphins and colorful coral reefs. And finally, unwind in the luxurious oasis of Aswan, cruising on a traditional felucca sailboat. Don't forget to subscribe to catch the next episode of our journey. Until then, keep exploring and stay curious. Tonight we dine with the priests at Karnak. We savor honeyed sips of wine beneath painted stars, listen to papyrus scrolls unfurled, and feel the faint perfume of lotus blossom on our skin. Join us for a night of perfumed priests, papyrus readings, and the sweet taste of triumph. Imagine yourself within temple walls, not in the blazing daylight, but under the soft gold of evening. The heat has passed, the shadows grow longer, and the air smells faintly of incense and crushed lotus. Here, the mighty Karnak is not a tourist trap nor a place of blaring sun. It is home. It is Karnak, but not the Karnak of tourists and daylight. The Karnak of those who lived here, who walked its columns slowly, who dined in silence beneath its painted stars. We are brought back to an era when temples weren't just buildings. They were lives. We find ourselves standing in front of a modest yet inviting doorway. A hand beckons us inside. Welcome to Karnak, the largest temple ever built. Karnak wasn't a single building, but a sprawling complex, a city of stone and shadow dedicated to the god Amun. Every pharaoh, from the 21st century BC to the 30th, added to it, erecting obelisks, grand halls, and sacred lakes, nurturing a growing forest of columns carved with prayers and shaped by generations. Walking through Karnak at dusk is like walking through time. We push open the doorway. Our senses are immediately drawn to the sight before us. The room is simple, but serene. Walls of sandstone are adorned with hieroglyphics, each carving, whispering stories of ancient rituals and divine kings. The flickering light of torches dances along the intricate patterns, casting long, slow-moving shadows that stretch and distort the images of gods and kings. Here in this humble abode, we are not just observers, we are guests. Tonight, we are not archaeologists or historians, but priests. Our day began early, as it always did. We spent our morning reciting hymns to the rising sun, our afternoon copying ritual texts onto papyrus. And now the evening is ours to prepare for guests. Our hands smell faintly of ink made from soot and gum. The scrolls we tend are sacred, but tonight they will entertain as well. For this is not a grand feast, but a gathering, a moment of respite, a chance to unwind after a day of devotion. We sink to cushions placed on the floor, the softness enveloping us like a long-awaited embrace. There are no chairs here, only the ground where cleanliness is next to godliness, and the finest linen sheets are spread upon it. Around us, other priests and scribes relax, some washing their hands from copper basins, others trimming their beards with bronze razors. Across the room, a young novice priest stands before a low table laden with simple but sumptuous offerings. A silver tray rests on top, holding 2 goblets filled with amber liquid. He pours with reverence, his movements fluid, practiced, pouring for each guest an equal measure of honeyed wine. Not much, just enough to warm the tongue, not to excess, but in moderation. Before us on the table, dates and figs mingle with slices of roasted duck, bread filled with herbs, and a dish of lentils, still warm from the hearth. The aroma fills our senses, a comforting blend of spice and savory goodness. There is no laughter here, only murmur. A junior priest unfolds a papyrus scroll, his voice echoing in the still room. He recites a passage from an old poem, the cadence slow, like the oars of a ceremonial boat pushing through still water. The words dance on our ears, weaving tales of gods and heroes from a bygone era. Another priest hums softly, not a song, just sound, a harmonious undertone that complements the rhythmic recitation. We sip, we eat, we listen, eyes closed, lost in the poetry. We do not speak unless addressed, for this is a time for reflection, for communion with the divine through words and deeds. As the recitation ends, the junior priest carefully folds the papyrus and lays it aside. Outside, the sky has darkened completely, but above the ceiling, painted with stars, remains perpetually blue and gold. The darkness is a canvas for celestial wonders. A servant approaches with a basin, and we wash our hands once more, the cool water soothing our fingertips. The silence is not awkward, but comforting, a shared moment of tranquility. And then we turn our gaze upwards to the heavens, not to think, not to wonder, just to rest our eyes. The lamps are trimmed, and the room grows dimmer, mirroring the fading light outside. Shadows deepen, and the torches flicker, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The scent of lotus thickens in the air. We rise, our evening of relaxation drawing to a close. Our duties are finished. The temple awaits the coming night. We walk past statues of Amun, still and waiting, past walls filled with cartouches, whispered into stone. Our steps echo in the vast space, a solemn procession under the watchful eyes of eternity. We retire to our chamber, simple, clean, enough. Woven bedding smoothed over our bed, ready for rest. Here, the great temple fades into the background, its grandeur giving way to the quiet intimacy of our room. We lie on our backs, staring up at the woven reed matting that forms our ceiling. Through the small opening above, we can see a sliver of the night sky, a reminder of the cosmos that stretches far beyond our humble abode. The sounds of the temple, the hushed voices, the flickering flames, the distant chant, all fade into a gentle hum. They blend with the whisper of the wind across the desert sands, creating a soothing melody that lulls us into tranquility. With closed eyes, we inhale the scent of lotus and linen, each breath carrying us deeper into relaxation. Thoughts drift like clouds across the mental canvas, leaving us free from the burdens of the day. And then blessed silence, an expanse of quiet that envelops us, broken only by the soft murmur of our own breathing. Time seems to stand still. There is nothing more to do tonight. No temple to build, no grain to plant, no name to remember. The stars above Karnak may fade into our ceiling. The wind from the valley becomes our own sigh. Our thoughts wander as the oars of history grow still. Sleep now. Deep, safe, timeless. Our journey through time comes to a gentle close. The night deepens, the temple sleeps, and we find ourselves drifting into a peaceful slumber. Before we part ways, though, let us linger for a moment longer. Let us reflect on the echoes of Karnak that resonate within us. You have traveled far tonight, but never quickly, and never alone. You have walked in silence through fields, followed a queen down palace corridors, descended into the stone heart of a tomb, and dined in the still air of a painted temple. The Egypt you visited wasn't made of gold or wrapped in myth. It was slow, repetitive, rooted in the rhythm of sun and shadow, of seasons, of names, of dust. Let yourself reflect, not on facts or dates, but on patterns. The quiet effort of the farmer, the soft ambition of a woman who wore a crown, the absence found in an unfinished tomb, the comfort of repetition inside a holy place. All of them lived within their role, not always joyfully, but with purpose. Their world was made of clay and stone, yours of screen and sound. But the rhythm, that ancient pull toward routine and rest, still whispers through time. The Nile still flows, just as it did for them, just as your breath flows now. In and out, soft and steady. There is nothing more to do tonight. No temple to build, no grain to plant, no name to remember. Let the stars above Karnak fade into your ceiling. Let the wind from the valley become your own sigh. Let your thoughts wander as the oars of history grow still. Sleep now, deep, safe, timeless. Thank you for joining us on this extraordinary journey through time. If you enjoyed this immersive experience, please don't forget to subscribe to be part of our next adventure. Until then, may your nights be filled with peaceful dreams and your days with the joy of discovery.